Too late.
Wait,
You can have a light.
didn't we just talk about that?
I couldn't hit back. No, you're great. So, hello, good afternoon. I don't know how time flew today. So,
Mm,
I'm not sure. I feel like it's still in the morning. I know it's still in the morning there.
mhm.
But here in Houston, it's 1:30. So I don't know how is it 1:30. I've been working since 6, so I didn't even feel it.
That's how come the time flew today for you.
Yes. The flying. I mean, I don't know how we are here now. So, all right. Good afternoon, everyone. And if you are with Rosetta in Hawaii, good morning.
Good
Good morning.
morning.
How are you? So today we're going to be talking about mistakes we have made in our business. And it's not just on the businesses we are running right now, just in general. And if you are entrepreneur, then you probably started so many businesses until you get to the last business. That's because this just built in on you. You want to start a business. So most of us tried so many things until we land onto the thing that we really want to do. And we avoid all the mistakes we have been doing with our journey. So today we decided to talk to you about our mistakes. First of all, like if you are new here, my name is Noura Al Masri. I am an enrolled agent and the founder of Noura's books. I am known as a nonprofit CFO. I help nonprofit raise fund, build their donor base, and get to the 6 figures and 7 figures. And also, I help businesses, especially nonprofit consultants, to get into their 6 figure business and create the cash flow they need. So that's me. And I have my guest and my friend here, Rosetta William, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Nora. So I love when we get an opportunity to do these lives or create videos together. I enjoy creating with you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
As Nora said, my name is Rosetta Williams. I am a grant writing consultant, entrepreneur. Wow, all the things. I am the founder and CEO of Right Touch Consulting, and it is based here in the on the beautiful Big Island of Hawaii, or I'm sorry, Hawaii Island. Um, it has been quite the journey, and it has been an amazing journey to land here after having tried many things, as Nora has mentioned. Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. This was like this idea on talking about business mistake came to us we did last month, our last live, and we thought it's going to be really interesting to do because a lot of you guys might be thinking that maybe shy away from your mistakes and thinking, oh, I don't want to say I did this mistakes because this sounds stupid. Nothing sounds stupid because this is the path to learn. And we thought just to let you know, guys, that we made mistakes too, and we probably are gonna keep doing some other mistakes as we grow because this is life. This is how we learn. And for me, honestly, just being on videos, I was like 2 years ago, I didn't want to go on videos, like not YouTube, nothing. I didn't want to do anything until actually I watched so many videos on people who are perfect now on YouTube, have a lot of followers, very confident, they doing really great, and they made their mistake. I mean, they show like behind the scene how many times they scrambled about around their words, and in the beginning how did they start and how shy, and like their videos wasn't as near as the videos type they ended up to be. So that encouraged me to be in front of a camera. And now actually I see myself, I know I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but and I see conversion. I can't even talk today. I compare between last year videos and this year video. I was like, I'm sure I'm gonna do the same thing next year and the next year and the next year. I would say like, what was I doing this? I mean, but that's life. If we are happy with what we did last year, that means we didn't grow. That's not good. We always have to look back and see, how did we do this? Because that means we're growing. So today we're gonna start with sharing our mistakes, and yeah, and let us know. And we will be interested actually if you are watching us live. I see some people are watching. You can share your mistakes too. That would be fun. We can share them if you want on the screen. And if you have any questions for me and Rosetta, we'll be happy to talk to you. Then, do you want to start, Rosetta?
Well, yeah, I can start. The first thing I'd like to say is, as you mentioned, you being on video, I have, you've been my like inspiration and hero, because as you know, I was kicking and screaming. I remember the first time you were like, let's do a video. And I'm like, are you crazy? That is not, I am a grant writer because I want to be behind the scenes. I want to help people get the things that they need, do the things. I don't want to be in the front. And so, Nora you have been instrumental in even me sitting here right today.
Thanks.
This is not, it historically hasn't been something that I've enjoyed doing. I like just being in the background, but I recognized and through Nora's coaching and help, because as she mentioned, we are friends, we are colleagues, all the things. So she's like, Rosetta, you got to start doing this. And I'm like, are you crazy? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And that kind of went back and forth for a little while. And now here I am. So thank you.
Thank you.
I would have to acknowledge what you've said about, before I was making videos and doing these things, I could not figure out, I'm on a small island in the middle of the Pacific. I'm like, things are going great. Business is good, but how do I reach more people? I have things to say, things I want to share, and just not feeling confident enough, being shy, feeling like, oh, what if somebody knows, all of those unknowns and what ifs that came about with it. So I would have to say that was probably my first mistake, not trusting in the fact that I could do this and really falling back into my comfort zone. I think as a business owner, I don't know, I've not started a lot of businesses. I started Right Touch, in 2016, and I said, okay, I'm going to forge through and I'm going to do this. But so there was so much to learn and so many stumbling blocks. Like I felt like I have taken the cake on all the times I've fallen clean on my face and been like, okay, yep, you made a mistake. You didn't do this right. You didn't do that. And rather than like beating myself up and saying, oh, I knew it would never work, I got up, I wiped off the dirt and said, okay, let me just regroup and forge forward, Yeah, so I think that has been an interesting evolution for me and for Right Touch. Even now, as I shift from this idea of I'm going to be just the best grant writer and do all the great grant writing things into more of a training space and looking at how can I really, if I really want to make an impact, it took a while for me to understand that if I truly want to make an impact, it doesn't start with the fact that I'm a great grant writer. It starts with educating nonprofits, their boards, executive directors on how they, what are their roles? How are they supposed to really show up for the organization? So as I'm shifting into this space, I'm making mistakes. And I've decided that I don't make mistakes. I just allow myself to be open to opportunities.
Yeah. Yes, learning. You pay actually for school to get credit hours, but now like we spend money and learning, or maybe not spending money, spending time and effort, and that's the cost of learning. So
Yeah,
learning, we all
yeah,
we're here on earth to learn anyway.
yeah. I think that when I started my business, I started in a vacuum. And that I would probably say was my number one mistake, is starting in a vacuum, not being being too shy and unsure to be able to open myself up and put myself out here and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is the knowledge that I have. So I I appreciate this opportunity to go on camera, to write articles, to reach out, because this is I am a shy, nerdy girl. So
Yeah. So I started few businesses.
veteran, I love it.
When I was working full time still. So one of the businesses I started, just like I don't even remember everything, I guess. One of them I started was an event planning,
Hmm.
and just to plan events. And I started with a partner, and that was one of the mistakes, to start with a partner. Well,
Hmm.
I myself don't know, I never started a business before. That was years ago. And I started with a partner. I loved my partner, but she didn't go through with it. And then I give up. Like when I start something with someone, I don't like to just take it. And,
Hmm.
for me, it's just both of us, not me alone. So I
Hmm.
think my mistake was to start too early partnering with someone in the same entity.
Mm.
Like, so this is one. Another business I started, it was a family business. We started a store, me and my family. But also the mistake I did there, also to start with family, because I wasn't strong enough to hold into my what I think and what idea. And so there was a lot of back and forth with how we want to manage it, how things should go. I didn't necessarily agree with everything going on. Then we closed the business like a year and a half. We didn't have enough cash flow. And with that, in that business, I did some mistakes. It was an LLC, multi-member LLC, but I put myself on payroll. Like, huh? And you cannot put yourself on payroll if you have an LLC. So you guys don't put yourself on payroll. I didn't know back then. It was years ago before I get into the tax law. Now, um, so them, so these just couples, like from these two, I learned, okay, don't start with partnering with someone in the same entity. Never, ever. I never seen anyone, maybe there are, but I have never seen anyone that succeed with partnering from the first business, because you're not strong enough, you don't know enough, and now you are two. There is no two people alike 100%.
Hmm.
So most of the time it's not gonna go well. Maybe after you establish one successful business and doing great with it, then like you will be able to evaluate the ideas more, like maybe getting on the different level of partnership. That
Hmm.
could be okay. But for the startup, don't start with other people. That's my experience, at least.
Hmm.
Not family, no stranger, no one actually. Until you are built, you are built,
Right.
you have your own thing. And then like if you want to start a new thing, maybe now, like because while you're building a business, you're building your personality, you're building your confidence, you're building
Hmm.
a lot of things along the way. You're building your financial house, you're doing a lot of things, and you are becoming a different person that
Hmm.
will be more likely to succeed when partnering with other people in the same entity.
Right.
But I wouldn't start there ever.
Well, I'd like to chime in on that. Um, I think while I've never really brought anyone into my business and as a partner, I have worked with various consultants and had these various ideas and thoughts of how we could make this thing amazing and grow. But as you were saying, I realized as I'm going through this, I had no clue what to do. So I am literally stumbling around in the dark and asking people to stumble with me. I didn't have the business acumen. I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the understanding of really what I was doing in this business in the first place. Like, what is the end goal? What is the vision of where I want this to go? So because of that, it definitely, I've made mistakes in that arena also. But like I said, you're absolutely right. This idea that you don't know what you don't know, and when you are starting, you are just really trying to figure out and learn. Even if you even like the business that you have, is this truly your passion? Is this where you can see yourself in 15, 20 years? And if not, I would say the idea of bringing someone along with the ride, it is not, because you don't know. It's the blind leading the blind sometimes.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, another mistake that I've made as a grant writer, I I think, oh wow, this is a doozy for me. I think one of the largest mistakes I've made is taking clients that have not been actually grant ready,
Mhm.
right? And really just pushing through, because I love everything about grant writing. I appreciate the art. I believe it is an art. And so a lot of times, especially early on, I would just want to jump in, start writing, doing the work. And I'm like, yeah, we're in here. And we would get to certain spots in the project. And I'm like, oh, I need that budget. And their clients are looking at me saying, oh, we don't have a budget. Huh? Wait, what? Or, I will need to know what your strategic plan is. I need to know what is your, do you have any kind of DEI, anything in place? So looking at some of those background things for clients has,
Mhm.
um, I've found myself with, um, mud on my face sometimes, because we're ready, and then I find myself stressed out because they're not as ready as they've told me that they were. So I would say that has been a real big learning. I had to shift. I had to shift
Mhm.
this idea that I can come in and people are ready because this is their business. This is what they do. Looking at the nonprofit as, hey, this is your business. This is what you do every day. How did you even get started without some of these things in place? How do you not have an employee handbook? How do you not have a a solid board of directors? So I think I would walk in with this assumption that everybody was ready, that every nonprofit was ready to go and be amazing. Um,
Mhm.
that wasn't true.
Tell me about it.
So, what I had to learn, and what has that experience, after doing this for so many years now, the experience is, I hate that feeling. I hate feeling unprepared. I feel like it's not cool to tell your client, well, you hired me and you knew you weren't ready. I can't just say that when I'm thinking that, as they're looking at me like, how dare you not get this huge grant and blah, blah, blah. And there's this tension, when really I'm thinking, but you weren't ready. What did you, I cannot move mountains. I
Mhm.
can write a great grant, but I cannot move mountains. And if you don't have certain things, what did you want me to just make it appear out of thin air? And so that having faced that, and it took me a while because I think sometimes I'm just not a quick learner. It took me a while before I said, okay, every new client that I take on, we are going to have a conversation about your red flags. We are going to talk about, oh, do you have this? Is what does your board do? Are they engaged? Are they being fiscally responsible? What are your handbook looks like? So now I'm asking these questions up front and feeling secure enough to know that I know what I'm doing. And if they're not ready, I can say, okay, well, if you'd like to come back to me once you get ready, great. Or I have a package that I can help you get ready. Being able to put that out there and know that it's for the best interest of both me and the client. I
Mhm.
want them to get the best. I know that nonprofits, they don't always have a lot of money, especially when it's startups or, they've kind of been piecemealing. So
Mhm.
being able to feel confident and comfortable enough to know I'm not out here trying to get rich off of your nonprofit, so come back when you're ready, or we can discuss how I can help you get ready.
Mhm.
That has been a huge lesson. That's how I had to overcome it.
Yeah.
Create a great grant ready package.
Cool, cool. Yeah, that's really important. And like nonprofit do not realize we spoke about this a lot, me and you and me alone and every one of us on our platform. You really need to get ready, and you have to have 70% of your donations from donors. I'm gonna take this opportunity and to share our websites. And you guys can actually go to our website. We have, I mean, I'm gonna talk about mine and I will let Rosetta talk about hers. My website now, I'm so excited about it because it's almost it's looking great today. Not today, now. It will always look great from now on. It has everything you need. It has the services. It has the free masterclass you can join to learn how to build your donor base. And if you're ready to invest, actually, you can join my signature coaching program for building seven-figure nonprofit. And that is all under my website. You can join if you're ready. There is the financing. You can apply for financing. You can get everything you need there. So if you didn't do your taxes, also you can schedule a call there. So I'm really excited about my website. We are working on it. My daughter actually is designing it, and my great branding consultant, she did the blueprint, and my daughter is doing the website. And I'm so happy. I'm so proud. I cannot go get over it. So from now on, you'll see me sharing my website only. You get everything there. And I'll let Rosetta talk about what she has on the website. So for
Okay.
you guys to get grant ready.
Well, on the website, I do have a few items. I'm still working through, what do I want my website to look like, and how I want to show up to the world through this medium. But at this
Mhm.
moment, there's an opportunity to get some articles, resources. There's also an assessment to see if you're even grant ready, so that we can begin having the conversations, right? Um, I think a lot of times we don't have the conversations because we just want to get in there and do the work. But
Mhm.
I wanted to make it easy for organizations to figure out if they're ready, to assess themselves, to say, oh, well, I don't have that, and she's asking for 30 documents, and I I don't have any of those. Yes, so that is on my website. You can go check it out, and we can connect through there. I also have other social media aspects: Facebook, LinkedIn. So definitely available through through the World Wide Web.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Rosetta. I'm gonna share my second mistake. As all these businesses I started, I thought I knew. I didn't work with a coach or a mentor. I did it alone. And of course, when you do it alone, you get overwhelmed. You are not accountable for everything. Some stuff you don't even know it exists, and you should do it.
Right.
So, of course, those businesses we're gonna fail because you really need someone who is ahead of you on the game and knows what you need because you're going to be so overwhelmed with everything starting. You have to work with a coach or mentor or both.
Hmm.
I actually, the one great thing I admire and I really actually love that I did with starting Nora's books is I hired a coach right away. So I joined her coaching program. She's amazing. She's in the space I want to be. And I didn't have my, I remember like just attending her YouTube back then. And I didn't make money yet. I didn't do anything. I didn't even tell people that I created something. It was after COVID, and I was just planning. I did study the thing if I want to do it or not for 6 months. I was listening to people on YouTube, watching just how much it's going to take of me to start this business. And then I registered in February 2021. And
Hmm.
then but I didn't go out there. I was just listening to see how can I, what should I take as a first step after registration. I was nervous and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this from home. It's not even like a storefront or something like people can walk by it or drive by it. So how do I bring my clients? What do I do? I didn't even say anything on social media, nothing for anyone I knew. The only people who knew that was my husband and my kids. That's it. They're not gonna pay me to do their taxes. They still don't. They still- but that back then I was listening to my coach when she wasn't my coach yet, and she mentioned her coaching program. I was like, I'm gonna get into that program as soon as I get my first clients. And then she gave a discount. And I was like, let me go grab my credit cards. And I joined.
Hmm.
And this is the best decision I have ever made because I joined her on March and then I went through the materials and start applying things.
Hmm.
And then April got my first bookkeeping recurring clients on April. In 2 months, I got two bookkeeping clients. So like the first month I got one, second month and I started getting like
Hmm.
tax clients as well. Even though it was April that year, like they extended the deadline until May. So I was lucky to have that, but I didn't, so I picked up some client, but before without that coaching program I wouldn't even know how to let people know now I'm doing this.
Hmm.
So I am so grateful that I made that decision. Even now to this point at the business, I'm doing great, but I will never stay without a coach. I will always have a coach because we got a lot of things. We got life happening around us. If we don't have someone hold us accountable, if we don't have someone remind us of what we want to do, what we have to do, and we don't have a guide, blueprints, even if we know the stuff, knowing the stuff meaning apply it. If you don't apply it, you don't know it.
Hmm.
So you need someone to stay check in with you to make sure you're doing what you need. So before our coaching call, what I would do, okay, oh my god, I didn't do this. So if I didn't have the coaching call, I would be doing something else, maybe for my
Hmm.
clients, maybe for business still, but I
Hmm.
wouldn't do the necessary things that will really move the mountain for my business.
Right. Right.
So it is really important. So guys, whatever you're trying to create, find that coach that's gonna help you get to the next level.
Nora, it's interesting that you brought that up. As I mentioned, I started my business in 2016, and very clear about the fact that I started in a bubble. I had worked as an in-house grant writer for a couple of different organizations, and um, I knew about grant writing. Never really was a desire for me. It wasn't like, oh, that's what I'm going to do when I grow up, because I'm a technical writer. I have a background as a technical writer, so that's writing has always been important for me. So when I decided to start this business, I really did all the things all the hard way. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have that mentor. I I didn't know where to reach out to. And To be honest, I don't think that I was quick enough to even think, go on YouTube and learn. Like that wasn't even an option for me at the time, even though it could have been, but it didn't occur to me that I could go out and learn and get these things. So after having spent quite a few years, like I said, as an in-house grant writer, I started my own business and I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm out here. And um yeah, it really created some stumbling blocks for me when I finally 2020 got a coach, started learning, started asking questions about, wait, how do I better market this? How do I put myself out there? What are the things that I need to do? And in fact, my first coach is how I met you. I met you through my very first coach. So um yeah, it was just I think that was one of the stumbling blocks that I created for myself. I mean, I was getting the work done, making money, doing the things. However, I was not working smarter. I was working much harder. Everything then felt like, it was exhausting. I felt like there was a ton of bricks on me all the time because, with the coach and as I kind of got into that spirit of going out and finding a coach, doing this extended research, I started to realize, oh, okay, I am not the only one with these issues. This doesn't have to be this hard. I can ask a question and maybe if you don't give me the answer, you can point me in the direction of the answer. And that was valuable to me. Having a coach was probably one of the best things that I could have done for my business, and even for me. It changed how I looked at not only my business, but how I wanted to show up in my business. Did I always want to just be a grant writer, or did I want to become that CEO? Did I want to become that person in the front to say, hey, this is what we're doing at Right Touch, and this is how we do it? And also, I don't want to take this information with me. When I'm dead and gone, I want to make sure that I've shared everything that I have with as many people as I can touch. That's just really important to me. This idea that uh, information and knowledge is not to be hoarded. It is definitely to be shared. So that's what shifted me. And through the coaching and through the things, shifted me into wanting to share the information that I have. So yes, I agree, Nora. Big mistake. Glad you did it. Glad I met you through coaching.
Yes, and with coaching, you like you said, we met each other through that, and actually, you have a community
Yes.
of people who are doing the same thing, so you can
Mm-hmm.
support each other when you are feeling down. Someone is there, like, so, oh, okay, I was feeling like that last week, and this week everything's great, so don't worry.
Yes.
People will hold you back, so it's
Right.
really amazing.
It definitely sets you up to it's I realized I have a lot of friends, well, a few friends. Those are the people that, yes, I can go to and talk to about any and everything else, but no one is going to really understand what I'm saying. This client, this grant, this thing, nobody's getting that because they've not experienced that. So, one of the most valuable things I found with going, um, getting a coach, creating this community is I can say, oh, this client is driving me mad, I don't understand this, or they are there to help me and say, okay, have you thought about this? Let me look at it in a different light from not being in the inside of the stress. So the community of it all has been beautiful. I absolutely appreciate and love it.
Yes, yes, awesome. So I have the third mistake here with me, not having a daily checklist. Now, I I mean, I don't remember in any of my first businesses I ever had a checklist that I
Mm,
need to do this for this week, I need to do this for this day. I would just go wake up like and see what's happening.
mhm,
Whatever happened, I would deal with it. I didn't really have a checklist saying, okay, these are the three most important things. and also these stuff needs to be done. And
Mm.
now I actually every week I have the guideline for the week, each day what I have, meetings I have, and then things that has to be done. But the most important thing I highlight, do this first, then everything else. And also, can I do them alone, or do I need to hire people? Do I need to give them to my staff member? What do I want to do with it? It is
Mhm.
so important. It's just like easy task to do if you want to do it. Like, it sounds so simple. Like, a lot of people underestimate like how much you could get done if you just have that notebook, or do it anyway. I mean, for me, I am, I have my iPad and I have everything, but for the to-do list, I still have list. I love to have a paper thing. I don't
Mhm.
like to, I need to write it down. I need to check it off, and I can't wait until to check everything off, because it feels good and you feel like you've done something and you really moving the needle in the business. So yeah.
No, well, I will say this. I have yet I kind of vacillate between I'm a checklist girl, I'm not. I go back and forth because as simple as it sounds, it's a little bit challenging to put your brain in that to create that as a habit. Um, I remember when I finally decided to stop trying to put everything electronic on my meetings and actually write them down. So when I did that, I felt like it was a huge accomplishment because I remember a time where I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. I'm like, oh, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Blah, blah, because as you mentioned, putting out the fires, doing all of these things, oh, that came up. Let me just go and do that, going with the flow of it. And then having that realization, oh man, you didn't finish all the things that you wanted to get done. You didn't hit those number one things on your list. And or you're running late to a meeting that you didn't have to. So I've not yet gotten I'm working on it. That is one area that I am still consciously aware of, and I have to work on it and um make that decision every day. Like I love when I hear people, they're like, oh, I write everything down at 10 o'clock at night before I go to bed. And I'm like, oh, Rosetta, you could probably do that too. Maybe you could try that again. Like, is it the time frame? But I think it is really what works best for you. I'm an early riser, so I like to go to bed early at 7 o'clock at night. I am the roosters have quit crowing. I am ready for sleep. So I had to figure out what actually works best for me. What is the how do I incorporate that in my lifestyle? That is, yeah. It's
Yeah,
the
I
thing
mean,
to
for
open up.
business is really important. I started actually to do even stuff in personal life I need to get done, especially
Mhm.
like calling for any billing, anything, credit cards and doctors, anything. If it's not in my checklist, it's not gonna get done.
There
It
you go.
has to be in my calendar or in my checklist. One of them. One of them. It
Uh-huh.
has to be there. Otherwise, I probably forget about it for months.
Because life happens, as you mentioned, things are going around every day, all day, and
Mhm.
is no 1 second is the same.
Yes.
No matter how we try to think that we have that time, it's always different. It is
Mhm.
constantly changing, and there are things that if I don't put it down, I'm going to forget. So I am working on it.
Awesome.
More inspiration to do better, to write it all down,
Yeah.
and acknowledging that it has created by not having that as a solid habit. I
Mhm.
can see times in my business, in my personal life, where I'm just like, man, I wish I would have wrote that down.
Mhm.
Man, I wish I would have done this. So yeah, moving the needle from wishing I would have and doing.
Yeah.
There's the challenge.
How did I make myself like doing even this, like the checklist and other stuff I really want to get create a habit of, I actually started putting it in my calendar and set a reminder for
Oh,
few days, at least a week. And if I need more than that, until I create a habit and now it's automatic, I don't need to put it anymore.
well, that's
But
actually a great idea. So
mhm,
you remind yourself to create a list of reminders for
yes,
you. I
yes,
love that. Okay, I never thought of that, but I'm putting that in my pocket.
yes, because anything actually, and my phone has, all of these like reminders, and in the morning also, like all these calls like we have or meetings, I have to put a reminder 5 minutes earlier, or sometimes if I need to get ready for something, I would it earlier and then 5 minutes earlier. I got this from my coach actually. She does that because you don't want to miss a client call or a
Right,
meeting or
exactly.
something. So, but for this habit I wanted to create, I still like any habit I want to enter. That's how I do it, so I can get it as a habit,
Hmm.
and it's
It's
been working for me. Because otherwise, who's gonna remind you, right? Your phone is your friend.
yeah, right. It can be. Absolutely. That's a great point. And so, like I said, I'm gonna put that in my pocket and work on that.
Uh-huh.
Um, I would have to say I want to bring up another mistake that I've made. um, I have early in my business, just because I don't feel like I was confident enough, um, I would take on these clients as the consultant, as the person that knows, but then find myself in situations where the client is telling me that they know better than me. Right? And I'm like, okay. Um, so having been faced with those situations and really just kind of kowtowing and saying, okay, well, if that's how you want to do it, then yes, even when I knew and felt that there's a better way, this could be easier, this doesn't have to be this challenging, I would go along. So one of I think another mistake that I've had is allowing not standing firm in my knowing as a business owner, in my knowing as a consultant, to say, you know what, that's one way you could do it, but
Mhm.
I don't feel that that way is going to move the needle or get you to where you want to go. Would you consider, being able to ask that question and not being afraid or scared to do those things. So I think I've had to build the confidence muscle as a business owner, because it's so easy just to go along with, well, this is the client, they're paying the bill, blah, blah, blah. Really, I learned early. Well, I feel like I'm always having to get those reminders. No, that's right. You are the consultant. You know these things. So being able to practice and have those conversations about, you know what, that's one way to do it, but this is not the way I would suggest. And standing firm in that and building that confidence to know that as the consultant, you have this skill set, and they hired you because they didn't have that skill set, you know.
Yeah.
So um I think I would say the mistake there is just always cowering. In the beginning, I would be like, okay, okay, oh, so yes, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, And now I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. That didn't. Let's think about this. You know, how does that? Do you think how that's? Have you thought about how that's going to affect you here? Do you have these things, and so asking the right questions. But I've found that as a business owner, and like I mentioned, this is my first business. I've never done this before. So all of this has been new to me. Being very confident and sure about what you know. And I know what I know. I'm doing the work. I'm out here learning and getting the information so that I can share and give it to you in a way that works for you. Um, so yeah, not being confident enough. Starting this business with this just, it'll all be perfect and I can just, it's not reality.
Yes. Yeah, I can hear, I can relate to this. Confidence, actually, I think most of us get that in the beginning of starting any business because
Mhm,
we know the stuff, but because we haven't put it out there with the clients, even maybe we've been doing it for a lifetime and with other people, but just having to do it on your own for your own business, for your new clients, we always have this confidence piece, like, and that voice inside your head saying, no, you, no, no, you,
mhm,
what if? And also that plays actually a big role with pricing. I mean, when I started, I was pricing so low. I
mhm.
mean, I was paying for the client almost.
I can relate 100%. I can 100% relate. Here I am
Hire me
working.
and I pay you.
Right. Hire me, I'll pay you. I mean, I remember putting in all the long hours, doing all the things, getting all of these large grants. And when I take a step back and I think about it, I was stressed. I was tired. Like I'd have to send my kids away and do all the things so that I could focus. And I got with pennies on the dollar, pennies. I was, like you said, I was paying them to do all the work. Um, but that's a mindset though. That's a shift. And
Mhm,
I hear oftentimes when I tell people I don't typically go by the hour. I don't have a real hourly rate. And so when I used to, I remember when I started, I used to charge $65 an hour. I mean, and I was like, oh, that's so great. And all of these people were wanting to come to me, but then people would complain about $65 an hour when I've put in 100 hours almost.
yeah.
So yeah, confidence, it took that's a huge one. Yeah, I
Mhm,
agree.
yeah.
Paying them.
Yes. So my next one is not monitoring cash flow.
Mm,
And I know this is what I do for my clients, but I fail to do it for myself. And then when you do not monitor your cash flow, then you may be overcommitting yourself to things that you cannot take care of at that moment.
mhm, mhm,
And you might be able to take care of it next week or next month. But if you put it too early, then it's gonna cripple your next month and next week and maybe next few months. So it is really important to really monitor the cash flow. This is more important than anything else. Of course, you cannot really do it unless you have bookkeeping and have everything.
mhm,
So monitoring cash flow, it is a must. I put myself into a big mess because for a few months I didn't do that, and now like I do it week by week because this is how you get out of any trouble you might have.
mhm,
Um, I've been in debt and paid my debt back, like even in a personal life and over, but I don't get out of the situation really fast unless I monitor my cash flow, regardless of it's personal or it's in the business.
yeah,
And that doesn't mean being cheap. It means just knowing what you have. And now business owners, we can actually pivot to the other thing that we can do to bring cash faster,
right.
or create another product, or doing some other training, anything, but we can come up with cash. It doesn't mean that we have to lower expenses, and
Mhm,
we have to really distinguish between expenses and investment, because some
mhm,
stuff really help you grow faster and get off of the problem faster, and other stuff help you, not help you, like make you actually pay more. For
mhm,
example, like I wouldn't go without having my social media running. I wouldn't go without having my financial house going. Yeah, even though like
mhm,
cash flow mistake, I will never have that again. So that's why I learned, okay, some staff members are important, others are not. So try, I try to do the most with less people rather than
Mm,
having so many people, and then you cannot, you know, they're costing your time to monitor them, to manage them, wasting your time rather than, especially if they don't help you. Like, you need them to create an ROI, but you, if you don't manage your cash flow, you don't pay attention to these details.
yes.
Yeah.
100%. It's kind of like, to bring it back full circle, as you mentioned earlier, partnering and bringing people in the business before you're actually ready to bring them in the business. Um, I've had to learn that the hard way of, having all of these people, but then because I wasn't aware and I didn't pay as much attention to my cash flow and to what was going on in my own space, it it ended up being harder, more stressful, just more taxing on me at the end of the day. I'm like, I don't need this stress. So I agree with you 100%. Paying attention to the cash flow, being aware of where you are and how you're standing. So I'd like to bring up a mistake that I made recently. And Nora was instrumental in helping me articulate that mistake. Um, so recently, I went, and my daughter and I traveled overseas. We went to Africa, and we really great experience. Got to do a lot of learning. However, I I walked away from my business for too long. And that was a huge mistake, that when I came back, and Nora in her very nice, polite way asked that question, and I'm sitting there and I just go, "Ugh, you're absolutely correct." That was such a hard pill to swallow for me. However, I think what I would say the biggest mistake was not having the right structure, the right people, the right things in place before deciding to step out and take that plunge and make that huge shift. So in coming back, it's like, oh, that wasn't the best thing to do. I could have done something different, but being aware of it, looking at it as an opportunity to move through it and grow into another area, and being honest about it. What I've realized is that your business, unless you have all of the foundation, if you don't have the right foundation, this is something you have to work on every day and be aware of and be a part of. Um, and I think the mistake was not really having the foundation as solid as I would have liked. And I think that happens to a lot of people. Is not one mistake that I love to discuss, and it still stings just a little bit. But it's there, it's out there, and I can't, I can't change it, and I just have to learn from it. And I'm grateful to have people like Nora that are like, come on, ask yourself. Let's be honest with yourself, and asking the question.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we learn, and I'm sure we're gonna get back to that later, and you will figure out like why this happened. I'm sure everything will happen for a great thing, but at the moment, we see it as a mistake, but we don't know what the life is gonna evolve with that. We're
It was
always
an
learning.
opportunity. It was an opportunity.
You never know what comes from that trip. Like even maybe like a couple of years later, you never know. And then,
Right.
oh, this is why.
Well, I will tell you this, after having done that and really looking at, like I said, looking at the foundation, now when I'm approaching clients and I'm having these conversations, the first thing I want to talk about is their foundation. How are you bringing, what are your streams of income? What are your, who's on first? Who's doing what in your organization? Because I recognize that a nonprofit is really just a business. It's still a business. You still need to have those foundational things in place. so just through that opportunity, I feel like it's helped me show up better for my clients and really be able to express, yeah, I understand that you don't want to take these steps, but you have to. So
Mm,
it's been interesting.
yeah. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all the mistakes and being here with me. I'm sorry it kept you so long. Someone really wants to talk to you.
That is always our thing. We get to chatting and laughing and giggling, and next thing you know, it's been an hour.
Yeah, I don't think we can talk less than an hour, me and you. I don't know. There's like something.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, so do you want to say anything before we say bye to everyone?
Well, I just want to thank you guys. Thank you, Nora, again for um, taking the time to host this, and we could chat about the things that we've done and these opportunities of growth. I appreciate that. And I want to thank everyone that took the time to join, or maybe will watch this later. As I mentioned before, I'm a grant writer, consultant, trainer. So you can definitely reach out to me through righttouch.consulting or through the various social media outlets that I have, Facebook or Instagram, YouTube. I just want to connect and share, and we can go from there. So thank you so much again, Nora, and
Awesome.
everyone watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rosetta. Thank you for being here with me. It's always a joy to have you and talk to you. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for bearing with me. Like every day I'm here. I hope you're not sick of me. You're going to still see me until the end of tax season for the nonprofits. I kind of like this. I might keep doing it, but for now, like I'm committed until the end of tax season for nonprofit in May 15. So if you haven't started your tax return filing, your 990s, go ahead, come on, connect with me. This is my website, and on the screen you will find my website and Rosetta's website. So if you need to get your tax return done, if you need to build your donor base for your organization, just get in touch with me. And if you need Rosetta's help, get in touch with her. And thank you so much for being here. And
Thank
I'll
you.
see you later. Bye.
Bye.